I've been intrigued by this part of the world for a while. It's not your typical go-to surf destination. It's somewhere a little bit different, but one that I was pretty certain had waves. And while it might not be the most consistent stretch of coastline in the world, scoring fun waves on a more unusual coastline is always a pretty fun trip. Now for this trip we were relying on public transport, which wasn't ideal. It meant that I couldn't explore the coast as much as I might otherwise do if I had a car or a bike. So we were restricted to the main hubs. But our arrival coincided with a fairly decent sized wind swell hitting the coast, so it meant we got straight into some pretty fun waves. But it also coincided with Lunar New Year, which in this part of the world is a big deal. So we arrived to some pretty funny and some pretty hectic scenes, and it was, yeah, just jumping straight into a new culture, a new place, and more people than you've ever seen in your life. For this kind of trip, you know, you've either got to have extreme patience and dedication, spend a lot of time in the place to understand when and where to surf and study it in different charts and different conditions, or you've just got to accept that you might get skunked. Alright, we're here on the edge of the South China Sea, looking for waves. Had my first surf in the sea yesterday, super onshore, super short period, loads of waves, pretty weak. Lots of duck diving, but now we're just trying to hunt for something more interesting. I came to a little series of points, or what looked like points on Google Maps, but in reality what you see on Google Maps is often quite different in real life. Like the profile of the beach is different, there's like more rocks, so what I thought looks perfect and could be like a fun setup has proven to not be much, to be honest. That's okay, still been surfing, and it's part of the game and the enjoyment of it, I guess. We're just gonna look around one more corner, which you never know, might have something. There's nobody out there. That one. Could be too north, but I'm talking about as if I like know what I'm talking about. Interesting to see if anyone else is checking it. There's plenty of swell here though. Ah, a bit further maybe? Yeah. Found a wave. Not really up to much. So obviously in the South China Sea you're dealing with wind swell, so there can only ever be so much fetch. You know, it's not like you're in the ocean and you get these long period ground swells. Swells almost always come with wind really close together, doesn't have that same level of power, and even if it's quite big, the waves still feel quite weak. That said, I was quite surprised by how much swell there actually was, and we had plenty of swells where it was like 8 feet, 10 seconds, and then just like a lot of the time it's kind of like 6 foot, 7, 8 seconds. So there's plenty of waves, and I had loads of funny surfs where I was just like endlessly duck diving these like little waves and surfing these like random stretches of beach break with nobody out. So while we're here at the prime time of year for this part of the world, it just went flat for 10 days straight. But we kind of used this opportunity to explore a little bit more of the country, go and see some things that we wouldn't normally do because we're spending so much time on the coast. You know, I don't like to go too far away from the coast, so it was quite cool to go and experience some new stuff in a new country.
Is it good? Really?
Just like crazy sweet. So we certainly made the most of it, but after 10 days or so, you know, I start to go a bit crazy if I haven't surfed, especially if I'm away from home as well. It's like being away just starts to feel a little bit pointless. I get a bit agitated and I just need to go surfing. So eventually the waves came back, and they came back in full force. You know, a ton of swell on the horizon, but just as the swell was come back, and what I'd consider to be a cruel punch in the gut from the universe, my YouTube channel got hacked, and then just within seconds, all of my channel, all my videos, and therefore 95% of my income just vanished. And it's probably the most stressed I've ever been on the road, and to just have like your job and all of your money and then all the other income streams that are tied to it just disappear like that is super, super stressful. I spent much of the time that I was meant to be surfing and trying to get clips basically just in my room. I almost had like a mental breakdown. I just couldn't even leave my room. I couldn't even do normal things. Like, it was such a big mental effort just to like go out and eat. So yeah, it was super, super stressful. We did get some fun waves during that time. I kind of forced myself to go surfing just to try and make myself feel better. And to be honest, I was at a point where I was pretty close to just pulling the plug and just going home and just, yeah, forgetting about the rest of the trip. But for whatever reason, decided to push through. We went to explore a different part of the South China Sea. So with a sudden combination of opportunity and luck, we tapped into exactly the sort of thing I'd been looking for the whole time. So yeah, while it certainly wasn't a world-class setup, the waves were really, really fun. There were quite a lot of people surfing, so it was actually quite hard to get waves off the longboarders. So it's not very roadless ridden, but still surfing in a bit of a different place. So after having a couple of surfs out on this left, I was pretty satisfied that we'd chosen to go to a different part of the world, like not your usual surf destination. Gotten some waves, even though it wasn't world class, but a lot of the time when you go to these sorts of places, it's not about scoring world class waves, it's more about going to a new place, experiencing a new culture, and then just getting something surfable is just like bonus. And then if you score anything better than that, it's just like the icing on top of the cake. And I think despite all that happened, I think I'll always look back on this trip pretty fondly. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. For now, it's goodbye from me, and I'll see you in the next episode.